There's so much mystery around what happens in the body during intimate moments, especially when it comes to female sexuality. Questions fill comment sections and private messages every day. Is this normal? Am I broken? What's actually happening here? Well, I'm Dr. Naraya Wolf, urologist and pelvic surgeon. And if you've ever felt confused or concerned about your body's responses during sex, I want you to know you're not alone. We're here to help you understand your body with clarity, compassion, and science. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe and share this with anyone who might benefit from honest, judgment-free education. Today, we're finally addressing one of the most asked questions I receive. Do women actually ejaculate, or is squirting just urine? Let's walk through what the research tells us, what your body is doing, and why none of this should ever be a source of shame. The confusion around fluids during sex. Intimacy involves the body in remarkable ways, and for people with vulvas, that includes the production of different types of fluids. It's easy to feel uncertain about what's normal, especially when so much of what we see in media doesn't reflect real biology. Let me break down the main fluids you might encounter. 1. Vaginal lubrication. This is what happens during arousal. When you become excited, physically, emotionally, or both, your body receives signals that say, "We're preparing for intimacy." The vaginal walls respond by producing natural lubrication. It's your body's way of making sex more comfortable. The amount varies from person to person and even from day to day. Factors like stress levels, hormonal changes like menopause or perimenopause, medications, how long you've been aroused, all influence how much lubrication you produce. And here's something important. Low lubrication doesn't mean you're not aroused. Your mind and body may be fully engaged, but biology sometimes needs a little help. That's completely normal. During orgasm, some of this fluid may be released as the muscles around the vagina contract rhythmically. That's one type of fluid, but there are others. 2. Female ejaculation and squirting, two different experiences. This is where things get interesting and often misunderstood. There are actually two distinct phenomena that can occur during sexual activity: female ejaculation, squirting. They're not the same thing, though they can happen at the same time. Let's start with female ejaculation. Female ejaculation, what it is and where it comes from. Female ejaculation is remarkably similar to male ejaculation, not in volume, but in origin. It comes from small glands called the Skene's glands. These glands sit beneath the urethra, your P-tube, and extend slightly along the upper wall of the vagina. If you've heard of the G-spot, the Skene's glands are right in that neighborhood. Here's what makes them fascinating. The Skene's glands are embryologically similar to the prostate gland in men. When a fetus develops, the same tissue that becomes a prostate in males becomes Skene's glands in females. They're what we call homologous structures, different versions of the same thing. During sexual arousal and orgasm, these glands can produce a small amount of fluid, usually about 1 milliliter or less. It's often whitish or milky in appearance, similar to skim milk. Many people don't even notice it because the volume is so small. How common is female ejaculation? Studies vary widely. Some research suggests that only 2 to 3% of people with vulvas experience noticeable ejaculation. Other surveys report numbers as high as 54%. Why such a big range? Because this research is based on self-reporting, and many people simply don't know whether they're ejaculating or not. The fluid may be subtle. It may mix with other fluids. It may go unnoticed entirely. But here's what we do know. When researchers have studied this fluid in the lab, they found something remarkable. The ejaculate tested positive for prostate-specific antigen, PSA, a substance that, in men, is produced only by the prostate. When scientists examined Skene's gland tissue under a microscope and used special staining techniques, the tissue lit up in the same way prostatic tissue does. In other words, female ejaculation is real, measurable, and rooted in biology. Squirting, a different experience. Squirting is not the same as ejaculation, though, again, they can happen together. Squirting involves a larger volume of fluid being released from the urethra. This can range from about half an ounce to 3 ounces, roughly 15 to 90 milliliters. Some describe it as a gush, others notice wetness after the fact. Chemically, this fluid is different from both vaginal lubrication and female ejaculation. It's similar to urine, but diluted, and it often contains traces of PSA from the Skene's glands as well. What's happening here? During intense arousal, it's believed that the Skene's glands and surrounding tissues fill with fluid. When orgasm occurs, the pelvic floor muscles contract powerfully. This contraction puts pressure on the bladder and the spongy tissue around the urethra, and fluid is expelled. Think of it like this. Your body is experiencing such intense sensation that fluid stored in nearby structures gets squeezed out. It's a physiological response, not a malfunction. The chemical breakdown. Researchers have analyzed the composition of these fluids across multiple studies. Here's what they found. Fluid type, volume, key components. Vaginal lubrication varies. Water, mucus, natural secretions. Female ejaculation, Jocu1 ml PSA. Enzymes similar to prostatic fluid. Squirting 1590 ml. Diluted urine, traces of PSA, other compounds. Notice that squirting fluid often contains both urine-like elements and PSA. That's because it's a mix, your body releasing fluid from multiple sources at once. Does squirting or ejaculating mean better sex? Here's something really important. Whether or not you ejaculate or squirt has no correlation with sexual satisfaction. Researchers have surveyed people who identify as ejaculators or squirters and compared them to those who don't. The result? No measurable difference in sexual pleasure or fulfillment. Let me say that again because it matters. You are not missing out if you don't squirt. You are not broken if you do. Neither experience determines the quality of your sex life. What does matter? Connection with your partner. Comfort in your own body. Open communication about what feels good. Freedom from shame or pressure. Is it urine? This is the question I'm asked most often, and it's asked with worry as though the answer would somehow be embarrassing. Here's the truth. Squirting fluid is chemically similar to diluted urine, but it's not the same as peeing. It comes from the urethra, yes. It may contain urea and other compounds found in urine, but it also contains PSA and other substances. It's a unique fluid, released during arousal and orgasm, not during normal bladder emptying. And even if it were urine, so what? Your body responded to pleasure. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Can you learn to squirt? Some people are curious about whether squirting is something they can train their body to do. The honest answer is maybe. Some individuals report that through exploration, either alone or with a patient partner, they've learned to relax in ways that allow squirting to happen. Others have attended workshops or read guides. But here's what I want to emphasize. This should never feel like a performance requirement. If you're curious and want to explore your body, that's wonderful. But if it doesn't happen, or if it does and you don't enjoy it, that's equally valid. Your body is not obligated to perform in any particular way. Pleasure is personal. Intimacy is about connection, not hitting checkboxes. So let's bring this all together. Yes, female ejaculation is real. It comes from the Skene's glands, small structures that are embryologically similar to the prostate. The fluid contains measurable PSA and is distinct from urine. Yes, squirting is real too. It's a larger release of fluid from the urethra during intense arousal or orgasm. It's chemically similar to diluted urine but also contains other compounds. It's a physiological response, not something you control consciously, and not something that defines your sexual experience. And most importantly, none of this determines your worth, your pleasure, or your satisfaction. Whether you ejaculate, squirt, do both, or do neither, you are normal. Your body is responding in its own unique way, and that's exactly as it should be. If you've ever felt shame about wetness during sex, or confusion about what your body is doing, I hope this video brings you some clarity and peace. You deserve to understand yourself without judgment. Thank you for being here. If this helped you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Let's keep breaking down the walls of shame and misinformation together. And as always, take care of yourself because you're worth it.